Welcome back to the track, race fans. Hope you had a wonderful holiday season as we return to racing here from Florence, Kentucky. First post up in 43 minutes. Another 8-race card here as we kick off another week of horse racing here. Don't forget, special holiday race schedule here coming up on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We will be racing in the daytime. Once again, New Year's Eve, that is the 31st Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Both of those 2 days, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, will be day racing. 6:15 tonight, 42 minutes, 8-race card. We have a couple of big sizable carryovers, and the temperature here couldn't be any better. Middle to upper 60 degrees here as we kick off things here with the first race, a non-2 claimant event. Claiming tag $5,000 in the first race. They'll go a mile and 16th. Again, those carryovers will be in race 3, the single 6, and the final race number 8 with that high 5. Now, if for some reason those pick 6 and high 5s continue to carry up until Tuesday, we will have a force-out payout on the 31st, so we'll keep you apprised of that as the week progresses. Now, first race, again, non-2 claimant event. We do take out the 2 in the opener, and in the opener, I'm going all the way to the outside. Even though it's a route distance, I'm going to take the high draw horse, number 8, Crescent Warrior. This one hasn't raced since Indiana Downs, but Declan Cannon has the call for Troy Newton, but this horse is always right there. I think the horse has found the softest company he's been with in a while. Now, he is a 5-year-old with just 1 win to his credit, but he does have 8 place finishes and 2 second place finishes, and 4 of those 8 second place finishes right here. He's 4 seconds from 6 starts at the track. I think he's drawn very well. I think he should get a decent pace setup up top. I don't think he's going to be too far back, though, but he is my top pick, 7-2. On the morning line. Now, number 5, Native Flora, is my second choice. This one has a trip over the track, made its first start on the Turfway Poly back on December 11th, where he showed a little speed and faded to 7th and beaten about 8 lengths. Now this one has a trip over the track, been training here, gets a jockey change to John McKee, and is making a slight class drop. Is Native Flora 3-1 favorite on the morning line, my second choice. Then I'll go to the inside, All Hands on Deck from the Jamie Grubb stable. This one I think will show speed. All Hands on Deck will be forwardly placed, has drawn the rail spot, and should use it to his advantage. He's a 4-year-old son of Kate Blanco. Another one has a benefit of a race over the track. This horse was much further back than usual last start in rally, kind of made a mid-race move, and I think, and was wide that day, but I think if Kevin Jimenez learned something from that and rides this horse a little bit different, I think All Hands on Deck has a big chance tonight for Andy Kohler and Jamie Grubbs. Now, 8-5-1 for me in the opener. That does start the 50 cent pick 5, just 15% takeout on the pick 5. Now, with the warmer temperatures here in the area, we have noticed a little bit of a trend, maybe a bias, if you will, but I want to take a kind of a wait-and-see approach the first couple of races and see if there is any bias. I expect the speed to be very good, and I expect the rail to be much better than usual. So that's something to throw in your handicap. And when you are playing Turfway, when the weather is really, really warm like this, when that track gets a lot of water and gets tightened up, the inside usually has a little bit of an edge. Now, the second race, it is a non-2 claimant event to go 5.5. It starts at pick 4. We have 2 of those every day, second and 5th race, just 14% takeout, and those have been paying very, very well. And this one, early one, I think has a chance to pay pretty big. I'm going to single in the pick I give you later on today, but any of the other 3 races I think are wide open, including the second, which I'm going to use number 7 as my top pick, Amani's Kitten. 9-2, I think there's some value there. Amani's Kitten making a big class drop for the Castillos, and Andre Sciuola has the call. He hasn't ridden here at the meet, but he regularly rides in South Florida, or excuse me, in Tampa in the winter, then he goes to Indiana the rest of the year. He's a capable rider, but Amani's Kitten, I think's the horse. This one was beaten 13 lengths for the $30,000 level at Churchill last start. Prior to that was 3rd, just beaten at Indiana Downs for a quarter non-2, and this one making the big class drop. Castillo doesn't run a lot of horses, but when he does, you always want to use him. He has his horses ready to go to fire. 9-2, Amani's Kitten. I'm going to go for number 10, Grade, as my second choice. Luan Machado takes over the reins here, making a class drop, slight class drop, back to the $5,000 level. Has the benefit of a race over the track, well drawn to the outside at this 5.5 distance. I like to use horses a little further out, but like I said, the way the track's playing tonight, we'll kind of take a wait and see and maybe adjust if we need to through the middle of the card to the back half of the card. Now, Grade is my second choice. For third, number 4, Unveiling. This one was a winner last start. Now, just barely won, but I think there's a little more in the tank. The horse could have won by further if need be. 1-for-1 over the track. Hard to beat maker here all the time. Martin Garcia is go-to rider currently here at the meet. Now, On the opposition, that race wasn't much to write home about. It was a really weak maiden 5. The horse will have to improve, I think, to beat these kind today, but it does need to be on your ticket. You can never leave off Maker here. Arch, Son of Arch, 5-2 favorite on the morning line. 7-10-4 for me in the opening leg of that 50-cent pick 4. Now, I spoke of that jackpot earlier, that carryover, and that does start in the upcoming third race we're going to talk about. It's a single 6 jackpot. You can make that for a 20-cent base wager, and if you have the lone winning ticket, you'll get the whole pool. There's a $11,099 carryover, so nearly $11,100 in free money. You'll want to get involved. It's a 20-cent base bet, and it starts in race number 3. And in the third race, I'm going to go for number 5, Shackleford Storm, as my top pick. 4-1 third choice on the morning line, but this one's coming in from South Florida. We've seen Lexi Cordero Lopez do that all last year here and currently this year. The horses have been knocking at the door. Just one win, but a couple of seconds here. And Shackleford Storm kind of fits the thing that Lexi hits here with. A horse running for much more money, drops in for the nickel, and takes a little edge with the condition. This is a 2 and 6 months, and Shackleford Storm now has never raced on the synthetic, but has been training here. You see it work 2 back, 36 and 4. I expect this horse to show a little speed with that 3 furlong work here recently at the track, and Shackleford Storm off the layoff should be fresh anyway. So 4-1 for me. For second, number 10, Soul of Discretion. This one just missed here last start for the Joe Woodard stable, who's just got back into training. We've seen Joe Woodard here for many, many years, and across the river where he's a multiple leading trainer. Now, Rogelio Miranda has the call. 3-time winner from 27 starts. He's 12 for 27 in the money. He's always right there. And this is kind of a versatile sort. He can go to the front, but I think with that outside draw, it'd probably be best if he just sat just off the pace setters, and Soul of Discretion is a must-use 7-2 for me. Now I'm going to go to the inside with number 1, Tale of Fame, as my third choice. Gennaro Garcia's barn off to a pretty good start, a couple of wins at the meet, and I think he's better than 50%, 1, 2, 3, fresh off his second straight leading trainer title up in Shelbyville. And Tale of Fame is a must-use. This one rallied from far back and was way out wide and has drawn this 7-hole, and I think Joseph D. Ramos is a very capable rider. You get a 5-pound break in weight, which is certainly a plus, because he certainly doesn't need the bug weight as good as he rides this track. But you get it, so take it. Gets in with 116 pounds, so gets that break in weight, has the benefit of trip over the track. And what I like, I think this horse is better stretching out. Now, this horse was second, just beat, fast closing from 7th to 2nd, beating 3/4 of a length, and gets an extra furlong today. 6.5 furlongs today's distance, 6-1. I think you definitely have to use that one. In the single 6, I'll spread here. I'll use those 3 horses, numbers 5, 10, and the 1A in race number 3 from Turfway. Fourth race is affiliate mare non-3 claiming event. Claiming tag $5,000 to go 6 furlongs. Only changes in here, scratch the also eligibles, the 13 and 14. Both of those have been withdrawn. Now I'm going to go to the outside here with my top 2 picks. My top pick, I'm going to go with number 12, Girls Got Track. I think she's a standout. Question is, why the layoff since the claim and why the drop? I don't know. It does throw up a red flag, but looking at this field, I don't see, other than the 10, I don't see anything else in here can beat. I think if she's, is 75%, I think she can dispatch of this field pretty easily. She's a sophomore daughter of Declaration of War. Now, has only raced 3 times, so there may be some issues, but she's won 2 of those, and 2 of those rather decent races. A broker maiden for the 15 level at Churchill, rallying from off the pace. That was going short, and then they stretch out the long. Of course, she's going to show more speed, and she won Gate to Wire, wrapped up by Sealand there at Churchill back on November 17th, where she was claimed for $10,000 by John Shelley and Marshall Godsey. They've waited out to jail time. They run her back for the nickel, and she's jammed in for this non-3 nickel to go 6 furlongs. She's 9-5 on the morning line. She's a must-use. I don't see any recent works on her since then, but I'm sure there'll be a late unpublished. But Girls Got Track, if she's anywhere close to her best, I think she handles this field. I'm going to single her in the single 6 as well, and probably the pick 4s. Now, number 10, Bella Christina. This one was DNF'd last start, but she stumbled at the starting gate, lost the jockey, and on the class drop, I think she fits here very, very well. Now, if your budget allows us, maybe not single the 12, throw in the 10 as well, because she's the only other horse to me that will offer any threat to Girls Got Track. Number 2, Christian Miss. Now, this one, is making the first start to the Steve Cahill barn, who has a one win from 2 starts here at the meet. And Christian Miss has Indiana bred, but she's been kind of mismanaged throughout her career, been entered all over the place. She runs short, she runs long, she's running against the boys, she's running Stakes Company, but she's never run in here at Turfway. But she is training here. She's making her poly debut. And I expect her to be forwardly placed from that inside draw. Now, if the track is playing like it does here usually with the warm weather and the inside being good, she might get a clear lead and be tough to get by Christian Miss. She's 8-1 for Morgan Bermudez with apprentice Joseph D. Ramos. I think you have to use Christian Miss underneath as well. 12-10-2 for me in race number 4. Now, the back half of the card, we start here with race number 5. It's a maiden filly 2-year-old special weight. They go for a purse of $46,000, a distance of 6 furlongs. Jock change on the 4 to Albin Jimenez and take out the 13 and 14. This is a very, very contentious race, very, very good race here. A number of horses can win. And in fact, you'll see that on Mike's Morning Line. The favorite 7-2 here from the Palo Lobo stable. Angel Serpa rides Ojo Demel, and I'm going to use her on top as well. And she's a 2-year-old daughter by Sky Mesa, coming out of 2 very good races. If you look, the horse that beat her on debut came back. She won her next subsequent start in a first-level allowance race. The horse that finished second that day, Jilted Bride, she came back. She's trained by Steven Smution. She came back and won her next start in a maiden special weight. But this filly was 4th, beaten 8 lengths of them. They came back. That was at Keeneland. They came back and ran her at Churchill, where she kind of ran even, showed a little bit of speed, but she was way out wide, and she kind of spit the bit, was 6, beaten 8 lengths, but that was a loaded race as well. In fact, the winner of that race, Rising Seas, came back and also won a first-level allowance race. So this one's been keeping good company. She's trained by a very good trainer. Paulo Lobo came into the Kentucky area, I think, just about into March, early April last year at Keeneland from Southern California, and he does very, very well. I'm going to use this horse on top just on the company she's been keeping. Those have been very tough races, and she shows a serious work on December 15th, where she was the best of 3 that day at the training center. Now, another one I think you'll need to use is one from the Kenny McPeak stable. He has 2 in here. I'm going to lean on number 3, Elsie's First, a well-bred daughter, a Tapazar. She was 5th, beaten 8 lengths. She's coming out of the same race as her stablemate, the 9 Silver Take Charge, but she had a slow beginning. She had a slow beginning and then kind of made a pre-race move, same thing. And she was on the 3 path, closed in, was 5th, beaten 8 lengths. That was a pretty good field as well. And that was in the slop. She's making poly debut, and I look for her to move forward with that race under her belt. I love second start horses, and this one's 4-1, third choice on the morning line, which is my second choice. After that, I was shopping. I was in between the 9 and the 6. I think you probably could use the 2 as well if you're going to spread, but I end up going for the 6, Fashion Fact. This one just because I think of the pace scenario. Now, I don't think the race is loaded with speed, but I think Fashion Fact will probably be in front. She debuted at Indiana, where she was just off the pace and spit the bit with 7th, beaten 19 lengths. They came back, tried her at Kentucky Downs in a really, really tough maiden special weight race, going 6.5 furlongs, and she showed speed and faded to 8th, beaten just 8 lengths, but they turned back to the 6 furlong distance today. She got a couple of starts under her belt, a little more season. I'd look for her to move forward. Pretty good series of works at Keeneland, most recently the second of 4 that day, 37-2. So to me, that shows that Nacho was trying to put a little more speed in her. And Fashion Fact, I think on the cut back to the 6 furlong distance is a must-use. She's my third choice. If you're spreading in the pick fours, I think you have to use the 2, obviously, and the 9 as well. 11-3-6 in race 5 for me. Well, that's the first 5. We're going to come back for the final 3 races on the card, but first we're going to honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening once again, race fans. 28 minutes to post on this Thursday card. 8 races on the card. At this time, if you'll take out your racing programs, we'll go over tonight's late program changes. First race, start of the pick 5. Overweight of number 1, all hands on deck. That jockey is 2 pounds over the listed weight. Scratch number 2, Lucky Fortune. Number 2, Lucky Fortune, has been scratched out of the opener. Second race, start of the early pick 4 is clear. No changes, race 2. If you'll turn to race number 3, scratch the 1, Mystic Tiger. Plain 1, Mystic Tiger, is out. The entry mate will run. Couple of jockey changes. Number 6, How's My Bud, to Alan Garcia. Jockey change on the 9, 4 left feet, to Martine Garcia. Don't forget, race 3 starts at single 6, carryover $11,099. Fourth race, overweight on number 5, Love Totem. That rider is 2 pounds over the listed weight. Ownership correction on number 11, New Blue Cat. That owner should simply read VJ Racing of Beth Johnson. Scratch both also eligibles, 13 in Claytus and the 14 Robotron. 13 and 14 scratched from race number 4. Race 5 starts the late pick 4 with just 14% takeout. Jockey change on the 4, Go Storm and Girl, make the rider Alvin Jimenez. Jimenez on the 4, Go Storm and Girl. Scratch the AEs, number 13, Fixer Upper, and scratch 14, Kisses for Heidi. Race number 6, please be aware that on the morning line favorite, number 5, Anna's Fast, contrary to the program, this horse will race with the blinks off. Again, number 5, Anna's Fast, blinkers off. Scratch number 7, Slap Happy. Number 7, Slap Happy, has been scratched. Seventh race, jockey change on the 12, Ascender, to Kevin Jimenez. Kevin Jimenez, the new jockey on the 12, and add 2 pounds of overweight. Also take out the 13, Screenwriter, and number 14, Lady Worthington. 13 and 14 out of race 7. Race number 8 has that carryover in the high 5. Once again, that's a $1 base bet, carryover $6,161. There's a jockey change on number 3, Unscattered, make the rider Gerardo Corrales. Corrales, the new rider on the 3. Also rider change on the 4, Taytown, make the rider Johnny McKee. McKee picks up the 4, Taytown. Scratch number 7, late scratch number 7, Here's to You. Scratch 13, Lady David. Scratch 14, Too Short. 8th race, take out the 7, 13, and 14. Put Corrales on the 3 and McKee on the 4. Those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the program, I will get those to you as they do so. First post in 24 minutes. Good luck tonight. Welcome back to the pre-race show, race fans. We got through the first 5 prior to the anthem, and we'll take a look at the final pick 3 on this Thursday card. Now, We do have a change in the 6th race that we're going to start at here. Number 7, Slap Happy, the second part of the ward entry, has been scratched again. 6th race, the 7 is out. Anna's Fast is 6-5 on the morning line. Of course, expect that to come down with the 7-2 shot has been scratched, so you lose a lot of points on there. Anna's Fast won't be anywhere near to 6-5, so how do you get value around her? You single her in the pick 4 or pick 3s or doubles or 6s, or you try to beat her. You take one of the 2 approaches. I think she's probably a single. Anna's Fast, the daughter of Fast Anna. She's out of a Yes It's True mare. Been training very well over here, and this one I think is very well met today. You usually don't see here recently Julio Garcia riding, but when Wesley Ward puts him on horses, they seem to run out the TV screen every time. They win at a high percentage, and Wesley's been going to Gerardo Corrales here this meet, but now Anna's Fast, Julio takes them out, so to me, you have to use the horse. Julio shows up for a reason, and this one's owned by Mike Hall's Breeze Easy, and she broke her maiden convincingly like most 2-year-olds do for Wesley at Keeneland in the spring, where she was a winner by better than 5. She went just like a lot of them do across the pond to Ascot, and she didn't fare so well, but she's came back here. She's had time off since June. She's training very well. She's got, in fact, 2 5/8 and a half-mile work over this track listed, and I think she rates a big edge in the 6th race. And at number 1, Well Spent, is one I'll use under her in the exotic. She's a daughter of Hampton Court, racing for Susan Moulton. Steve Lister with a couple of wins on the meet already. I think he closed out the program last week with the winner. And Well Spent gets Johnny McKee. Now this one broke her maiden on debut at Churchill Downs, come back with second in a first level allowance race over the synthetic. Now that was at Presque Isle, and then they thought enough of that performance to enter in the stake race at Kentucky Downs. And she ran mid-pack, got beat 8 lengths. In fact, she was 8th, but she does have some experience over the synthetic, although not the poly. She was just beaten 8 lengths in a stake at Presque Isle. So I think she's another one to keep in good company. I don't know if she could beat Anna's Fast, but I do think she is the best of the rest. For third, number 6, Ruby Y'all. Broke her maiden non-debut, came back in a first level allowance race. Once again, on and off track, showed some speed and faded, but I think she'll hang around for a piece of it. I'm going to use her third, Ruby Y'all. 5-1-6 race number 6. Start of the final rolling pick 3. Now the 7th race from Turfway is an allowance event, non-2s to go a mile. And we'll take out the bottom 2 AEs in here. And I'm going to go with number 6, Speedy Solution, as my top pick. Wesley Ward again, this one for Ken and Sarah Ramsey. Now Corrales has the call on this one. She was beaten just a length and a half last start in a first level allowance race at Gulfstream Park. Now that was way back in January, so she has been on the shelf for quite some time, but is working here at the track. A bunch of 5 furlong works you'll see on the work tab. In fact, 4 of them. Most recently, a minute in 2 that day, time before, 103 and change. But if you go all the way back to November 16th, 101 and 4, that was the third best of 44 that day. She's 3-1 on the morning line. Very well bred, good connections, and I think she's well spotted here to get back to her winning ways off the shelf. Now, number 11, Bossy Bride, is one I like. That's a price. She's 12-1 on the morning line. I think you have to use her. She exits a second-place finish. Now, she was well beaten by Ruby Trust, but Ruby Trust from the John Ortiz barn was a runaway winner that day and a multiple winner. In fact, it was a first level allowance race, or you could be entered for a claiming tag of $25,000. So this race here is in fact a class drop back into a straight restricted non-2 life, and I think she's very valuable at 12-1 on the morning line. I think you should probably use her, and Alvin Jimenez up top today for Mike Maker. Now number 4, Fun Finder, is another one been keeping good company. Was a third beaten 7 lengths in a off the turf, a sloppy event at Churchill Downs, going a mile, where she rallied from off the pace. I expect her to be a little more forwardly placed today, and she's drawn the 4-hole 4-1 on the morning line. 6-11-4 for me in race number 7. Now the 8th race here every night has the high 5 wager. That's a $1 bet, and it's been pretty hard to hit here the last couple of weeks. In fact, this has carried over for, I think, at least 2 weeks of racing now, and it doesn't get a lot of action, but when the carryover gets up like it is now, you want to get involved. But this race, to me, maiden filly and mare, $5,000. If you can be riding this race, you should be rewarded, because it's a completely wide open race. But now there is a scratch of the 7 Here's to You, so it's just an 11-horse field. But this is a hard bet to hit. But you want to get involved when there's free money in the pool like this. So I urge you to play along if you can. Now, if it doesn't get hit, I did speak earlier, it will be a force out on our special day racing on the 31st. So that's something to keep an eye on the carryovers, this kind of wager. So I narrowed it down to a few horses you'll see in the pick fours I give later. Of those, I'm going to use number 4, Taytown on top from the barn of Kelly Ackerman. She's a 3-year-old daughter by Jerseytown. Now this one didn't fare extremely bad last start. She was third, beaten 4 lengths, but we noticed last week Kelly Ackerman had a horse that ran the previous week where the horse was beaten favorite. Well, beaten came back with Rodney Prescott, won I think the second race here the other night, and with the trip over the track, the horse moved forward, and I'd look for this one to do so as well. It made a start here on December 16th after being idle since September 18th. Showed speed, faded, beaten 4 lengths. I think with the tightener, the horse will move forward for Chuck Fipke and Kelly Ackerman. And the late jockey change, in fact, to John McKee. Prescott off all mounts tonight. Johnny McKee picks that one up. Taytown, my top pick. For second, number 5, Anima. Now, this one's been racing up at Mountaineer, and those races aren't very tough up there, but the horse has been consistent the last couple of starts, 2 third-place finishes. I think the horse will show speed. The race isn't very, very deep, so I'm going to use her. Normally, the Mountaineer horses I draw a line through, but this one comes from a good barn. Marshall Gottes's a very good trainer, and Malcolm Franklin, super strong rider, has the call. For third, number 2, Aunt Peg. William Gallagher sends this one out. Sonny Leone rides. Now, what I do like about this one, even though it's been racing at Mahoney, coming here, Mahoney's track is very, very deep. When horses leave there, it's kind of like horses you'll see in the spring when they leave Tampa Bay Downs and they go elsewhere. Their first couple of starts, they're very, very legged up, more so than other horses. And when they go to a track that's a little tighter, like the one we'll see here tonight, they move forward. So Aunt Peg, even though it was second in lesser caliber races at Mahoney, I think she'll move forward. She's a daughter of Alberto Maximus. She's in with a big chance at 8-1. I think she's a must-use. Aunt Peg with Sonny Leone. 4-5-2 for me. That's race 8 with the super high 5 carryover. Now, first post in 16 minutes here tonight, 6:15 first post. The first race starts at pick 5, followed up by a pick 4, the single 6 with the carryover in race 3. Temperature in the mid-upper 60 degrees, poly track fast, great night of racing. Good luck.